Recently, I watched a documentary about Jim Jones and Jonestown. You know, it may sound weird and it may sound bad, but cult figures have always, I suppose you could say, astounded me how they could take people and pretty much, you know, take them and mold them to do whatever they wanted. Um, I'm not going to say anything about Jim Jones because personally I think everybody's already said anything about him that needs to be said. But I want to talk about his congregation, all the people that followed him to the grave, and why I think they did what they did. You gotta remember, Jim Jones came across. The thing is about Jonestown, in my opinion, they had so much potential because they were breaking ground when the ground for racial unity was extremely hard. This was the '60s and the '70s, and it was a time when the Ku Klux Klan was in full force. The skinheads, the neo Nazis, pretty much these people that wanted to rule the United States for themselves, and it was about the white race and the white race only. And Jim Jones, when he was born, he came from, as he quoted, the wrong side of the tracks. And when he came and he recognized the problems of blacks, he took it upon himself to not be racist and to give everybody equality. And he became a preacher. He became a socialist preacher, and he got everybody to join in the People's Temple. Now, the question on everybody's mind is, why would they do everything that Jonestown did, including commit suicide? Well, the thing is, I'll put it this way: if I was a black man, or if there were black men and black women that joined a church back then, you joined a church basically whether it was a white church or a black church. There was no integrating. And when Jim Jones came along and he saw a black person on the road, he said, "Come to church, you're welcome here." Now, if you're Jim Jones, you are thinking everybody's equal, everybody's welcome. And I think that, in my personal opinion, I think everybody that joined People's Temple wanted to change the world. And the thing is, they had potential to. They had so much potential. But the thing is with Jim Jones, he got so drunk with power and drugs and women that he became a madman. And he moved to Guyana. First, he went from Indianapolis, I think it was, to California, from California to Guyana. And that's when the deed was done. And to me, I don't blame those people who killed themselves. In a way, I do. But the thing is, if I was a black person or a Vietnam War vet that just came home and nobody was appreciating what I did over there, and they're calling me baby killer, and I joined a church where I felt I was welcome, I pretty much, it's stupid for me to say, I'd be sucked into it too, because they were so deep into this thing that there was no way out for them. And I think that it was a very tragic. I think it was very something that those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And unfortunately, ever since then, people have been haunted by this. I mean, I look at the pictures on the internet of the aftermaths of the suicide in Jonestown, and I still think to myself, I said, that has got to be, that's got to be some kind of artwork or something like that. There's got to be some kind of picture. It's got to be, it just doesn't seem real, but it was real. And I think that, Carter, I think it was Chris Carter or something like that. Tim Carter, excuse me. Tim Carter was one of the survivors. And he said that if he sees anybody now in a red t-shirt and sunglasses, because Jim Jones' trademark was he always wore sunglasses. If he seen anybody wearing a red shirt or sunglasses and black hair, he would be haunted. So we need to remember the people of Jonestown, how they died and the way they lived. And remember that we can't let people like Jim Jones cloud our judgment and kill our minds and poison us no pun intended, in the way they did. So, as a matter of fact, Jim Jones was the one that created the term "drinking the Kool-Aid," and you know, what can I say? It's a tragedy, and something like that should never. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. But in my personal opinion, in my professional opinion, as a Christian and as a good human being on this earth, we can't allow anything like that to happen again.